welcome to this week's Three Legs, Four Wheels F1 podcast. It's Paul here with
Dan, Chris,
And Lee.
Lee. You're back.
I'm
Welcome back.
3, 2, 1, back in the room.
Yes.
Enjoyable holiday?
It was really nice. I enjoyed it. It was great fun. It was nice.
Enjoy watching the two Grand Prix in different rooms?
No, I still watched yesterday's race at home because I just watched it late because I was on a plane when it was on. I watched the Canadian Grand Prix from the balcony of my hotel room, and I probably shouldn't have done.
And that was our Canada review in a nutshell.
You missed nothing.
There was...
No.
That's the worst race I've ever seen. We might as well have a little chat about this because it was away, but that is the worst race I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm now leaning heavily towards your vision of Formula One. No road relevance, just the best drivers.
I saw your tweets about that.
I'm so tired of drivers protecting their cars all the time, but luckily, we didn't see much of that this weekend just gone.
No, well, Grosjean doesn't know how to protect a car. His or anybody else's.
Yeah. The problem is as well, you can't have Formula One as road relevant very soon because it won't.
If petrol engines are banned,
When petrol engines are banned,
driverless
cars. So what? Formula E driverless cars is that the future of Formula One?
Yeah,
no,
exactly, yeah.
future of Formula One is entertainment.
Yeah.
Oh, God, we're back to the Vince McMahon era.
Absolutely.
F1
but anyway,
attitude
there
era.
was a race last weekend.
This weekend.
This
yesterday.
weekend.
Yesterday, as we're recording this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all this news comes out tomorrow, as we're recording this.
Of course.
Yes, it was the return of the French Grand Prix.
Put your teeth back in.
I'm trying to. No, I'm a duck. I don't have any.
Oh, fair enough.
First race in France for 10 years. First race at Paul Ricard in
28 years.
28 years on, and the first race in Paul Ricard on that long circuit.
In some more years.
Yeah, in about 33, I think it was, and it wasn't bad.
No, it was all right. I thought we were going to have a lot longer lap times, but 1 minute 30 around a 6 kilometre circuit.
So it was quick, like.
Pretty handy, yeah.
And apparently it's going to be quicker next year because they want to get rid of the chicane.
I
wow.
think,
So it's
I
gonna
think
be a
they might
full-on
rethink
straight.
that because that chicane actually turned out to be pretty good for overtaking.
Yeah, but what they probably need to do is make the runoff areas around the chicane temporarily not so easy to maintain speed on.
Sausages.
Baguettes.
Yeah.
It's
The
France.
runoff areas confused me because it was really hard to tell where you were. Well, or if you just saw a shot of a car on the circuit.
Yeah.
I was going around a corner. It was like,
Like Valencia, where are you?
Yeah. Where are you? Like,
Your tweet was genius, Paul.
Which one?
The Rainbow Road one.
because it was just like blue stripes. Okay, where I don't. Sorry, no idea what part of the lap you're on.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. It's like that's a disconnect. I mean, maybe it's because I'm not used to Circuit Paul Ricard, and then within a couple of watches of races there, I'll be like, oh god, yeah, he's at senior, or wherever. So, but yeah, it was that for me was a bit of a strange one, just like a little bit like Sochi as well. Like, I don't know where you are on the circuit at all. I haven't got a clue.
You're in the bit next to the stripy runoff. Oh, God, it's Abu Dhabi all over again.
Yeah.
But there was one slightly worrying thing about it. The slightly worrying thing I had was the fact that all your Formula One experts were predicting like it was going to be massively difficult to overtake. It was going to be terrible for racing. Or there was so much of it you could see. All you need to do was type F1 in on social media,
And saw all
and
the
there was
negativity.
another
Yeah.
story about how bad the.
Ow.
That was entertaining.
That was bloody painful.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was a jump cut because Paul got his hair stuck in a fan.
There
Yeah.
was an epic fail.
Yes. I believe Paul's words that were actually, ouch, that was a fail. Ow, lads, guys, please, somebody help.
That may have been what I said. Edited highlights are available on Twitter.
Yeah.
So, Lee, you were saying everywhere you looked.
Everywhere I looked, there was negative things about what the race was going to be like. Yeah. So, I didn't think when you guys were talking betting odds when I was away on holiday and we were talking on Facebook, I didn't actually think that there was going to be no racing overtakes, during the course of the race. But I thought there'd be very few, like Canada.
Yeah.
But it makes me worry that if all the racing experts got that wrong, what else are the experts going to get wrong?
Why are they experts?
And I'm looking at 2019 rules.
Okay, yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I think DRS for a start was it was over effective. It was too long.
It seems to be over effective everywhere too right now, apart from Canada, where for some reason they couldn't even overtake with DRS there.
But yeah, it was way too. They've had years of practice at Canada, haven't they, to try and sort of perfect DRS to get closer, but not necessarily as an overtaking aid. But Paul Ricard, if you got within DRS, you were going past before that chicane.
Yeah,
and it got to the point where drivers just sort of moved out of the way because there was no point.
Yeah,
and the best they could hope
it's
for.
not racing.
No. The best they could hope for was to stick by them and maybe have a go at the next lap. And we didn't see that either because of tyre strategies. It goes back to what we were saying about protecting your car.
Another little before we get into the proper race review. There was a little thing I picked up on from Martin Brundle's commentary, which I was quite interested in. And sometimes that you feel that Martin Brundle will say something.
He knows something.
And he knows something. Did you pick this up?
No, go on.
When Vettel was doing making his way through the field, and he nailed a Sauber, and they remarked on how it's Ferrari engine in the back of it, blah blah blah, and I think Crofty said something around the is that right, of where cars are just jumping out of Ferrari engined cars are just jumping out of the way of Ferraris, to which Martin Brundle replied, you might have to get very used to that in the future. And I just thought that I can't remember what Crofty said, but that's word for word what Brundle said.
You might have to get very used to that in the future.
Yeah.
So Sauber could be Ferrari too.
Well, no, to me that's because they're doing it anyway. So that suggests more Ferrari engined cars to me. Because the Sauber were already doing it. They were already jumping out of the way.
And you got to think as well that Charles Leclerc is a Ferrari youth driver.
Yeah.
Marcus Ericsson isn't.
But driver.
No, yeah, exactly. Haas have, they've had a technical partnership in the past with Ferrari, and Ferrari supply most of their first car in Formula One. And there was the argument as well as to whether or not the Haas is this year is last year's Ferrari.
Yeah.
Which that argument seems to have faded away a little, although,
who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I can kind of see. There was also that rumor, wasn't there, that Haas were going to become Maserati for a while, and of course, if they, Maserati F1 or Maserati Haas or something along those lines.
Haserati,
there we go. Yeah, but the
that's what a Japanese person does for his birthday.
No, that's has a party.
I'm going to go put my head back in that fan.
Get your head in that fan.
Right, I can safely say I'm going to get this one in now.
Go on.
Right, I am proving that I am not Lewis Hamilton. You do not have the best fans.
I think I do.
Lee doesn't have the
Lee
best
doesn't
fans.
have the best fans.
Why?
I didn't think we were
I've just got my
need.
head caught in one.
Oh, I thought you meant the people actually were retweeting stuff. I think they are.
No.
We didn't need much more proof that Paul wasn't Lewis Hamilton, did we?
I've been recording a solo album for the last 6 years.
We don't need to talk about anything that Lewis Hamilton may or may not have done musically.
That joke was like giving me a baseball bat and throwing 100 baseballs at me there, and me not knowing which one to hit first.
I teed it up with all of the balls. Anyway, should we get on with the race review work from back to front?
Yeah, I think that'd probably be a good thing to do. Force India, not a lot to talk about their race because double DNF.
Yeah. Didn't look like they were going to do much anyway.
No, though, I mean, they were struggling in qualifying. Ocon got hit by Grosjean, and Grosjean didn't even know that he'd done it. But before the whole carnage at the first corner started, we could see bits of Force India carbon fibre flying all over the place.
Yeah, and Esteban Ocon later blamed Grosjean for the mess that ensued on the first lap because he started the sort of domino effect.
Yeah.
Grosjean tapped Ocon, got him out of shape, which meant he eventually, a couple of corners later, when he got back in shape, was right in Gasly's path, and then everything went very wrong.
Lost an absolute ton of downforce and had nowhere to go because he was actually out of control.
Yeah.
When him and Gasly collided, which...
Another first lap retirement for Esteban Ocon, though.
Yeah. Still only on one retirement after the first lap in his entire career.
And it's worth pointing out that Force India retired Sergio Perez with a power unit issue with that. They had the upgraded Mercedes, didn't they?
They had the 2.1 power unit in there as well.
Yep, so it's worth pointing out that maybe the reliability isn't all that from this new upgrade for Mercedes.
Seemed to do all right for Mercedes. I mean, you can't really sort of gauge how well it went for Williams because they stuck it in the back of a car made out of Lego. But yeah, just one of those weekends for Force India. Toro Rosso again, tough weekend for him. Hartley lost his engine in was it Friday's session?
Missed that.
In FP2, the whole 6 components went back to the Honda factory in Japan to be checked over and fully examined.
For a load of Honda engineers to shrug and say they don't know what happened.
Yeah, basically. I mean, putting a fire extinguisher up the exhaust can't have helped matters
No.
because he was suffering from a bit of an oil fire after he stopped. Took the new upgraded Honda power unit, started at the back of the grid, and finished 14th.
Worrying, though, for Red Bull in future, isn't it? That Honda claim they're getting all their stuff sorted. We go to the first power circuit in Canada's a power circuit, I suppose. Go to a power circuit and Toro Rosso are nowhere.
It's kind of a role reversal this week, isn't it? This year. Like the last couple of years, we've had McLaren and Honda have sort of masked the problems that they've clearly had. But this year, McLaren's problems are kind of masking the problems Honda are still having in a different team. It's not.
I think McLaren's and Williams' problems because
Where do you start?
They
with
are
that?
the worst teams in
You
Formula
say-
One at the moment.
you say that Toro Rosso had a bad weekend. McLaren and Williams
That might be
had
jumping the
worse
gun.
weekends.
With slightly better race result. But yeah. Toro Rosso, obviously, Gasly, not his fault. Not finishing the race involved in that first lap incident. But we'll see exactly what happens with Toro Rosso as the season unfolds. I mean, it's interesting that Honda and the Red Bull Red Bull partnership as still see how that develops as the season goes on. But we don't know where it's going to go. Much like McLaren don't know where their car's going.
Well, I can't help but think that because we saw some odd things. Force India being down was odd. Are we on McLaren now?
Not yet.
Right, well, I'll leave it for McLaren then.
Who's next?
I mean, next it's Williams, and again, didn't really. In a cricketing term, didn't trouble the scorers.
No.
Anybody else seems to be feeling surprised that Stroll looks better than Sorokin?
Sorokin got a brilliant start.
Yeah, but he was bobbins in qualifying.
Oh yeah. Sorokin got a brilliant start, avoided all that carnage. Maybe he cut some corners because a lot of cars did. I don't know, but the
I think most of the field cut a good few corners.
to avoid all the carnage and the carbon fiber flying everywhere, and you can afford to at a place like Paul Ricard, as I was saying before, just striped concrete. You can just drive straight.
I mean, it is
straight line all the way around.
very abrasive and hard on the tyres.
Yeah.
But
Better for the tyres than chunks of carbon fibre are.
Those lines are different grip levels, aren't they?
yeah, the red are the most abrasive.
Yeah.
Pardon me. But, I mean, Stroll destroyed his tyre in spectacular fashion because he managed to flat spot it in 3 places in one braking move. Locked up, released, locked up again, and then did it a third time for good measure, and then 2 laps later it just went on.
Yeah.
And we saw it lock up quite spectacularly, and then he didn't know why his tyre had given way. I'm kind of tired of Lance Stroll not knowing why things are happening.
Yeah. I'm just tired of Williams, and I really worry about Williams. going
Williams
forward.
and McLaren right at the back is worrying for Formula One.
I don't think McLaren's right at the back. I think this was a freak race. I think it's you hit with two things, and it's whatever's going on with that car has not suited Paul Ricard. But in general,
Good point. Have a Fredo.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
In general, this year McLaren have been a top 10 team.
Yeah, but 1.7 seconds off Red Bull in qualifying.
Oh yeah, no, it was
Also,
fucking
there's only
crazy.
10 teams.
No, you know, you know what I mean. Point scoring. So yeah, I don't think they're. I still expect to see Alonso in Q3 come the next race.
Yeah.
Well, according to our predictions chart, you expected him to win this week.
Yes.
We'll get to that later because you don't know what happened last week, do you?
No. Lee made some predictions through the rest of the team.
Oh god, yeah, of course I wasn't here.
Yeah. So Lee's predictions for France were interesting.
You might be surprised at some of the predictions you may say, that doesn't sound like something I'd say.
Sometimes I have
Well,
to
no,
say
no.
that about things I actually say.
Yes.
1/3 of it does sound like something he'd say. That's the worrying part. Sorokin, I don't know. Is he out of his depth?
It's hard. It's too hard to tell with a car that's It's when you first come into Formula One. I'm just talking like I know. I don't know. When you first come into Formula One, what a driver needs is a car that's going to allow him to explore his talents, not scare the shit out of him every time he gets into the car and he doesn't know what's going to happen. It's got to knock his confidence ridiculously that he can't perform because he hasn't got a car to perform.
If the Williams was a slow car, a talented driver would be able to show their talent. But it's an unpredictable car, which means that they can't push, they can't explore anything.
No.
And we saw Lance Stroll wheelie in the damn thing. Has anyone else ever seen a Formula One car wheelie?
Yeah, once. And it ended up with Michael Schumacher crashing in the Benetton very heavily.
Having been to over 10 races, I've seen Formula One's wheelie a few times. Sorry.
Oh dear.
I'm really sorry.
No, if you were sorry, you wouldn't do it.
This is true.
On with the podcast.
Oh God! Right, McLaren. Slow this weekend. Teams in crisis. Apparently, staff mutiny. Although they could have picked a better paper to go to than the Daily Mail.
But that's so McLaren, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Eric Boulier is denying that there is unrest in the factory.
Well, did anybody see? Was it when at some point during the race, Zach Brown got up off of it? Was it when Alonso was asking for rain?
Yeah, it was just after they were giving Alonso the weather update, and then Zach Brown just walked into the garage. He might have been just taking a toilet break.
He may have been, or he may have been going to have a word with technical development man Eric Boulier and saying, "Your technical development's fucking awful. Get out my team. Resign."
I don't think that would happen walking from pit wall.
My thought on the live blog was he was off to rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Yes, I did see that. Yes.
Yeah, maybe that's.
But Alonso pits towards the end to try and get the fastest lap, and then the rear suspension fails.
Yes. Yeah. Don't forget as well.
So
Alonso.
that's why he finished the race in the pits, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
he
know.
pitted at the end of the last lap with his wheel buckled.
There were only 3 wheels pointing in the same direction when he got in. He did another of his Baku-esque get it back to the pits somehow with no suspension. But this time it wasn't to get it repaired. But no, that's why he ended up 3 laps down. Stoffel slow, car slow.
Yeah, Stoffel was ahead of Alonso for most of the race, although let's not forget Alonso did get tagged by Vettel when Vettel was coming through early on in the race. Vettel was coming through the back of the pack, and it was probably, I don't want to say it was an unfair move, it was probably hard racing. It was a hard racing move, but it was a little bit elbows out But when you're Sebastian Vettel in a Ferrari trying to fight for the world championship, is exactly what you expect from him.
And trying
Yeah.
to overtake someone who is significantly slower than you.
Yeah, despite the fact that that's Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And again, there was one of the Alonso radio messages without the context behind it, because what we heard him say is no tyres, no brakes, I don't care.
mate, I've got no tyres, no
Yeah.
brakes.
That was in response to being told the gaps between 6th and 7th, and if it rained, he'd be fighting for 6th.
Right, okay. If it rained.
Yeah.
It doesn't rain, it only pours.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just one more on the list of weekends to forget for McLaren.
Is this Fernando gone, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we've had the news, haven't we, that Fernando obviously winning Le Mans whilst you've been away.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's done it. I think this is his last season in Formula One.
Well, I mean, there's rumours flying around that he wants to stay in F1, but he wants to go to a top 3 team.
Well, I think that's the issue. Like I was saying on the last podcast before I went on holiday, I can't think of a driver that left, apart from Nico Rosberg, that left Formula One on his own terms. You know, that just quit.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to stay. There might be some nice press release that comes out, but most drivers, like Felipe Massa, it out of Formula One.
Yeah.
I don't know
Rubens Barrichello it.
Yeah.
Hakkinen, I think, was the last one to do it. I'm going to
Hakkinen-
take.
yeah.
I'm going to take a year off. Actually, I've enjoyed that year off.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
have
you're
every
right.
year off.
Yeah, Hackinen's another one, but it's it's rare, and I think there's maybe a certain type of. I think the drivers that will retire from Formula One on their own terms are. I don't know if less competitive is the word, but they have to be less hungry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they've got that awareness around them that they either lost ability or, you know, that
but
something
I
has
think
changed.
in Rosberg's case, there was just something more important than
I
winning a Formula One title.
Yeah, he won a Formula One title and was like, I've done it. I'm champion. I'm retire as
I'm not
champion.
going through that again.
Yeah, I'll retire as champion. I'm happy
Yeah.
with that.
I'll have a family life.
I'd argue that maybe he
I'll never need to spend money on a beige suit again. I get them for free.
Yeah, but maybe he had to turn himself into something he didn't particularly like. Maybe you know we hear a lot about the sort of politics behind the scenes of, and he you know for all the jokes he seems like a relatively decent person. So maybe he didn't enjoy having to do that because
He is now captain marketing, though.
yeah, absolutely. But he had a teammate that was on day and day when everything being equal is far superior to him, and I think
I'm not sure I'd even say far superior.
Do you
He was
think
slightly
so?
superior,
But,
which is enough to make him 4-time world champion to Nico's one.
it's one, yeah. But I think
And the other thing Lewis
it
Hamilton
was the edge he had was the niggle.
Lewis Hamilton was absolutely brilliant at judging the line between what was fair and what was unfair racing
Yes.
against his teammate.
Yeah,
Nico Rosberg
not
was,
quite as
Was
good.
not.
was good with it when it wasn't his teammate.
Yeah,
When it was against Lewis, he couldn't do the same thing.
yeah.
He was either not aggressive enough or too aggressive, and I can imagine him just not liking himself for that.
Yeah, no, that's true. But back to the point. I think
Talking of Alonso.
Alonso, I don't think he's just been involved in like regardless of where the car is, like competitiveness to the rest of the field. He's just had his first go in Le Mans and he didn't throw it into a wall, and he still ran at pace, capable. That meant his car won the race, and it wasn't his teammates that won the race. Yeah.
Yeah.
The year before that, he throws himself into Indy after never doing Indy racing, never doing oval.
Don't
his
think
first
he'd ever done
oval.
ovals before?
No.
And we were realistically talking of him winning that race. Yeah. That guy's talent hasn't diminished. It's not like a Damon Hill situation where you could see the drop off year on year before Damon left Formula One, where you could see that he was slower and then he became a bit crashier, and then like the last season he only finish like 5 fucking races or something like that.
Well, didn't you say that year he wanted to retire
At the
when-
British
at
Grand
the British
Prix.
Grand Prix
Yeah.
after he pulled out?
Yeah. It was another good one I'm thinking about that became a bit crashy. I've forgotten him. There was somebody else that popped into my head then. But Alonso still seems to be there. He still seems to be hungry. He's obviously hungry because he's going to carry on racing. You know, I'm going to. I would consider, and I'm sure any WEC fans listen to this probably won't like this, but I consider going to WEC from Formula One as a step backwards. Whereas I consider a Formula One driver going from Formula One to IndyCar as just a step sideways. You know, it's
Single seater racing.
Yeah.
It's still single seater. I think that's what you're trying to get at.
yeah, but it's still.
WEC's always been the thing you do when you're
sports
retiring
car
from
racing,
Formula One.
regardless of how it's buttered up, it's still sports car racing.
Yeah.
Whereas
I mean, you look at some of the not necessarily in LMP1, but you look in sort of LMP2 and the two or three GT series.
yeah,
In WEC and in Blancpain. And you get drivers sort of ranging from mid-30s to even early 60s.
yeah.
But they're still competitive.
Yeah.
Jan Lammers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like in IndyCar, if someone turns around to you and say, "Yeah, I'm an IndyCar world champion," that's just as impressive as someone saying, "I'm a Formula One world champion."
I'm not sure it's just as
It doesn't-
impressive, but
It's
it's
the same.
It's as impressive, but it holds less prestige.
Yes.
The thing is,
In this part of the world.
yeah.
Yes.
The thing is, though, a Formula One world champion is more recognisable worldwide
Yes.
than an IndyCar champion by dint of the fact that Formula One
Is a global
sport, and IndyCar is mainly US with a race in Canada.
Given the like the Super Bowl being a world champions, shouldn't IndyCar be like World Series sports cars or World Series racing?
They used to do races in Australia as well, didn't they?
Yeah,
IndyCar?
they used to have one at Surfers Paradise, which is the ultimate name for a place because it just does what it says on the tin.
yeah.
Yeah. What's your town called? Surfers Paradise. Great. What can you do there?
Surf.
There's some great hiking.
Yeah. Surfers Paradise, musicians hell.
Yeah. But it's just a shame. I think when you've got a driver
Although
like Fernando,
I was watching the IndyCar last night just to carry on the subject, and Scott Dixon,
yeah,
with him being a Kiwi, he likes the fact that even though he is previous IndyCar champion, countless race wins, he can go out in the US and not get recognised.
yeah,
It's the drummer from Coldplay syndrome, isn't
Yeah,
it?
mainly because he doesn't have as much push from the American media because he's not American. Still a damn good driver.
I think if you take Lewis Hamilton, I think Sebastian Vettel could walk down a street and not get recognised.
Possibly.
In
I th-
America
I th-
or
in England.
I don't know about that.
I think Fernando Alonso could in certain countries. I think the only globally recognised Formula One driver is probably Lewis Hamilton at the minute.
Yeah,
you know,
but
to be that David Beckham-esque.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's a brand. He's up there with I don't know, Coca-Cola and Microsoft.
Yeah, no, but what I'm trying to say is that although we're talking about like hugely popular sports, motor racing is still always a niche sport.
Yeah.
It's got a big niche, but it's still niche.
So should we move on?
We'll move on. Sauber. Binary and for good reason.
Yeah, because Ericsson's terrible and Leclerc's pretty good.
Ericsson might have actually done a little bit better than 13th. I think he could have got 11th, but he was back in chassis. He was in chassis number 1.
Yeah.
Because he wrecked the chassis when he crashed on Friday morning.
Yeah.
With
And
a
missed FP2 as well.
Missed FP2 because of it. Spectacular oil fire that he couldn't actually see because his mirror had fallen off.
Brilliant.
And he only realised that the car was on fire when they radioed him to say, "Get out of the car, you're on fire," and saw a marshal with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah. Yeah, so a track where we're talking about McLaren and Toro Rosso struggling, it's nice to see Sauber kind of not struggling. All right, okay, it might be because of that Ferrari lump that's in that car, but their whole package works for them at the moment as they are. They've scored. What's this? This is what their 8th race of the season.
Yeah,
Something
Charles
like
Leclerc's
that.
got points in 3 out of the last 4.
Yeah, Exactly.
As many career points as Ericsson, I believe.
Yes, I
Yes.
saw that.
in like half a
ideal.
season, not even half a season.
Just over a third of a season.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt in Charles Leclerc's talent.
No.
Yeah, I mean, one good result you can say, all right, okay, that's impressive, but it's probably
Say
There was
Get-
shenanigans.
Say getting on the podium in Baku in his first season
yeah, exactly, yeah,
because of shenanigans.
yeah. But even still, you know, Charles Leclerc done it. He's done it on merit almost every time, and he wasn't that far off in Monaco when his brakes failed,
No.
if I remember rightly.
No, I mean,
all right, you can't really overtake in Monaco, but
Yeah.
he was running high up enough
Yeah.
that he was a threat.
Got a Sauber into Q3 for the first time in almost 3 years.
Yeah, and that was the car that let him down as well during the race. You know, because I looked at your bets, as like Dan's bets, and I thought, what? Come on. And then when I saw like how the race started, I thought, hang on a second, Dan might be onto something here.
Yeah. Yeah, he was another driver who had a great start and pushed his way up to sixth. At one point, genuinely on track overtake on Kimi Raikkonen in the Works Ferrari.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, Kimi was a bit out of shape because he hit someone, but we'll ignore that.
well, I tell you what, it could be quite prominent, that couldn't it?
I don't know if anyone saw that, but on board with Charles Leclerc, Kimi Raikkonen tapped somebody on the first lap, did lose a little bit of his front wing end plate, and then Leclerc just sort of sailed past. So Kimi clearly unbalanced the car when that happened.
Yeah.
But Leclerc was there to take advantage of a mistake.
Yeah. Can we see it? Can we see him?
I could see him in Ferrari next year. I can see Marchioni taking a punt on Leclerc.
Well,
But then the pressure really is on. Do you know what I
oh,
mean?
absolutely.
He can't be. Oh, he's new. He's not. You know, he's this. He's that. It's got to be.
It's
You're in your Ferrari.
fucked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're Ferrari. You're second, or you're nothing.
Yeah.
You know, behind Sebastian, or you're nothing at all to us.
I want to see it.
I want to see Leclerc in a Ferrari.
It's a shame. It's a shame it has to
I want to
come.
see Ferrari taking a bit of a risk as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just I don't know if it's quite the.
The nurturing place for a new driver. To
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, I mean, another year at
It will-
Sauber, perhaps. You know, under
If he,
Fred
goes to, if he goes to
Vasseur.
Ferrari now, it'll either make him a 6-time world champion by the time he's 35, or out of Formula One by the time he's 27.
Calm down, Paul. Ferrari can't even make a one-time world champion.
Yeah.
Didn't necessarily say it was going to be with them.
Yeah, this is Ferrari who took two-time world champion Fernando Alonso and gave him a donkey.
Yeah,
And said, win us a world championship with that. And he nearly did.
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, we've accidentally drifted into Alonso land again.
Which we always seem to do. Take the Kimoa hats off, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Have another Freddo, and we'll talk about somebody else.
Hat salesman Fernando Alonso. Anyway,
Hat salesman of uncertain future.
Yes.
Renault up next. Sainz in 8th, Hulk in 9th. Sainz was running 6th, and then his MG UK failed. Renault are bringing the new MG UK to Austria, the one that was meant to be in the car at the start of the 2017 season, and it's taken that long to develop.
It's going to have to be pretty special, isn't it, if it's been
Yeah,
developed for
McLaren and
over a
Red
year.
Bull are now saying, well, we might not actually use it because we want to know if it's going to work first.
Yeah.
That could be very good for Renault if it's any good.
If I were McLaren, I'd take a punt and I'd stick it in one of their cars.
You only get 2 MG UKs a season, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If it's,
Oh no, grid penalties.
if it doesn't
You're
work,
fucked anyway.
penalty time.
I could, if let's just say that McLaren were better this year. If and he like let's say Alonso was the outsider, yeah. But then you'd do it.
Well, yeah, we've had 2 weeks talking about other things while he's been on holiday.
Yeah, but you'd do it, wouldn't you? You wouldn't do it if there was anything, if there was going to be any reward from it. But if there was going to be any like negative results. But they're going to have negative results anyway. So Flood's right; they might as well take a punt.
Your phone keeps answering whatever you're saying.
It's trying to.
I like the fact all the technology listens. It makes me feel safe.
Someone's listening.
Skynet is watching you.
Yeah.
Alexa, order a Faraday cage.
She
I'm
didn't
sorry,
respond.
Dave. I can't do that.
But all in all, decent performance for Renault, driver-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. A solid drive from both drivers at what is Renault's home Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, they even paid to have a stand painted yellow.
well, the Renault fan club, whatever it was, all on that main straight.
Yeah, it looked like your average MotoGP race. There was that many yellow hats
Yeah,
going
exactly. Yeah, and yellow T-shirts, and they were all given French flags as well, which was quite the sight when they were doing the French national anthem just before the race. But yeah, I mean, solid drive from Hulkenberg, solid drive from Sainz. It was a little bit of a shame because I think Sainz could probably have held off Vettel for a while when Vettel was steaming through the pack, but I don't know if the problem developed earlier or whether
It was towards the end. It was after Vettel had passed him.
right. Okay, so maybe not then. But yeah, I mean, Carlos Sainz is for Hulkenberg being right on top of Sainz and pinning him down almost every single race. Sainz is now sort of just starting to turn that round and show that he has got the skills to at least match Hulkenberg, if not beat him.
Yeah.
So it's coming good for Renault. I'm quite optimistic that Renault could still win the 2018 development race and have the best developed car when we come the end of the season,
Yeah, could
which
do.
will hold them in good stead going into 2019.
With the Haas drop off, that seems to be like
They're in free fall.
yeah.
Are they next, Haas?
Yes, they are. I mean, one reason that Haas are in free fall, and I can't remember who it was that tweeted me this during the race, but or just after the race. But I'm in full agreement. Grosjean is past his sell-by date.
It's such a shame because he was so good in qualifying.
He has had a
Right
bad
up
run
to the,
over the
right
last
up to
few
the point
races.
where he binned it.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I've always said, he's either he's fasting in the wall or slow.
Yeah. Yeah, K-Mag did quite an impressive race, so didn't he finish sixth?
K-Mag finished sixth, started ninth, and blamed his qualifying on Raikkonen because Kimi screwed his qualifying up, and every time that K-Mag tried to get a quick lap in Q3,
Kimi was there.
yeah, Kimi was there going slow or screwing up a corner and throwing him off his line.
Right, okay.
And he had a lot to say.
It happens. It does happen.
It was investigated though, wasn't it? And there was no action taken.
There was no action taken, but it was a convenient excuse at the time because when you've got a faster car going slower in front of you because he's missing apexes and locking up, you're gonna be pretty pissed.
You're gonna be pretty pissed, but I'm. It does seem a bit of a pain. You know, Kevin Magnussen as a person seems to be a bit whingy with things. Not whingy to Grosjean levels, but
Nobody's that whingy.
no. So they're usually pretty consistent on if a driver's impeded, that the driver gets a penalty. So
Yeah.
it sounds like racing driver excuses to me.
I think this year as well with Haas, Kevin Magnussen doesn't have to do an awful lot to look like the better Haas driver. He's quite comfortable just sitting there being Kevin Magnussen.
Getting some points.
Not really pushing himself.
No.
Just being Kevin Magnussen, picking up the opportunities when they come his way, and not putting himself at too much of risk.
Do you think there's a decent Rosberg in him somewhere?
Yeah, probably. Whereas Grosjean is completely the opposite. The pressure appears to be piling on top of Romain Grosjean, and he just is making very silly mistakes
Yeah.
and claimed not to have a clue what his 5-second penalty was for. Which is worrying. Again, it's Lance Stroll. What do you mean I got 5 seconds? For what? I haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah. And what annoyed me most about him was his response to Bottas overtaking him,
Which was...
where he claimed he'd been pushed off the track by Bottas.
Oh, when they went side by side to turn one.
Yeah, and it was just like that was good racing. You know,
It was similar to the sort of to the Vettel Alonso pass. It was maybe a little bit elbows out. But
but I'm not being funny. If you're not prepared to have that done to you or prepared to do that,
Yeah.
then you're not a racing driver.
No, but I mean, on the receiving end, you're going to feel a little bit sore. But I mean, and on the if you're the one who goes through and takes position, you're going to feel pretty.
Yeah, but is
Yes,
that
I got
not
through.
when another car's got you? Like he'd clearly been had. That was happening. You know, as soon as you've got that much of a corner and you're on the inside, you're pushing the guy behind you out. Mm-hmm. Is that not where a better driver would have maybe backed out a little bit and gone behind him and to then try and have a go back at him?
Possibly, yeah. If they were in a car that was capable of that.
Yeah.
And if they weren't, let them go.
I think nowadays Formula One drivers use radio messages in the same way that soccer players use
Falling over.
clutching
Yeah.
their shins.
Yeah.
Somebody brushed me. I must instantly hit the floor to prove that I've been touched.
That's
Yeah.
why Formula Lee would ban radios.
That would be interesting. Just back to the old pit boards.
Or ban it being broadcasted
Yeah.
and just have it between pit and car communication like it used to be.
Yeah.
Then it wouldn't matter who was complaining to who.
For a while, you only got the team radios pre and post race, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like the olden days. Sorry, I'm being old again.
I kind of do think that sometimes like the ideas sound like a good idea to a certain extent. But again, if you what the masked magician wrecked magic for people.
Yeah,
By
yeah.
showing
He
them all
showed
the
how
tricks.
all the tricks work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, I really don't like the way that maybe like we pick up on it and our listeners probably pick up on it here and there, because when you listen to 2 Hour Formula One podcast, you're a pretty big fucking fan. But I don't like the way that I always feel that the messages are being played to me, like to try and form some sort of narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not sports. Shouldn't,
Creative editing.
Yes, sports shouldn't need creative editing. Sports just supposed to be a competition, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
yeah.
We'll move on.
I think so.
Yeah, Ferrari.
Well, Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes. Can we talk about the three of them together?
We might as well do it all together because it all kind of worked out. Vettel blamed his coming together with Bottas on getting too good a start, which is a kind of, was Bottas going too slow for him?
Well, no, Vettel had quite a good tow from Hamilton. He was right up close behind Hamilton, and he was quite candid at the end of the race and just said, I had nowhere to go. I touched the brakes and I didn't stop, so I hit Valtteri.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had a load more speed than everyone else because of the tow he got off of Hamilton.
Yeah.
And then he had no downforce because of the
Tow that he had from Hamilton, yeah.
and the dirty air coming off Bottas.
Hmm.
And he had cold brakes and he had cold tyres.
He misjudged it. It was an error of judgment. It wasn't a malicious thing. It just happened. I have in the past been quite vocal about Sebastian Vettel when he's made errors, and I think they've been a little bit Schumacher-esque and deliberate, should we say?
Yeah.
Where he's made a mistake on purpose to sort of try and put somebody out of a race, but I don't think he did that this time at all. So it was just a sheer error in judgment. He definitely didn't want to ruin his own race. He wanted to come away from France with the championship lead, and unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. I noticed how Kimi Raikkonen, talk about the other Ferrari, has picked up all of the Ferrari luck this weekend.
Yeah.
For a change, and was looking like, of the top 6 drivers in those top 3 teams, was looking like driver 6 again, as he has done more than one occasion. More often than he should be looking at being driver number 6. But he actually had good race pace for a change, and I really thought that Ferrari would go to Kimi again and leave him out on those tyres to try and slow Lewis Hamilton down but they didn't. When Kimi had a gap of about, I don't know what it was, about 4 seconds, I think I think Ferrari then decided to box him, change his tyres, and set him on a strategy which actually meant he was pretty quick towards the end of the race.
Well, it's crazily enough, they decided that maybe getting a car on the podium was a good idea.
Yeah, even if it couldn't be, even if it couldn't be Vettel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did think it was a bit telling, the pace that Vettel made up.
How do you mean?
You know, the pace Vettel had to make up the places he made from the first lap.
He was doing front runner pace for most of the first stint.
Yeah, but he really did catch up. You know, because let's not forget he had that extra pit stop at the end, didn't he?
Yeah, he had to.
Which put him 30 seconds off Vettel. Sorry, off Raikkonen.
Raikkonen, yeah.
But without that, he'd have been
Ricardo.
what?
30 seconds off Ricardo.
30 seconds off Ricardo, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he'd have been within 10 seconds of Kimi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a lot of ground to make up in the same car.
But the problem was his tyres were dying at that point because he stopped at the end of lap 1.
Oh, yeah,
Put the softs on. Which
No, but what I mean
And they
is
took
he
the
made.
hell out of them.
Yeah,
But
which
what I
they
mean
thought-
is he made that time up
Yeah.
before having to do the extra pit stop. You know,
Yeah.
he
Well, it goes back to what we
made
were
the
saying
time
about
up.
about car. You know, it was that Sebastian Vettel not really protecting his Ferrari, just going for it.
I
Much
think-
like we saw Lewis in Brazil last year, was it? Not really protecting his engine
Yeah.
because he had a new one in there anyway for like 2 races. Is like whatever? I'm just going to spank this.
Well, I think if you're at the back anyway, it's probably worth risking an engine penalty that'll put you down a few places.
Or Ferrari would have been as surprised by their race pace as I was, because that I think they had the pace to run with Mercedes and fight Mercedes for that win with Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah.
But Sebastian's move into turn 1 was not a man that thought that seemed to think that he could fight. So I think there was a desperate move there where he didn't need to make a desperate move. And if he'd have just give that corner up, you know, and let Bottas go ahead because he had it, he could have then raced with the pace he had in that car.
Well, presumably with all the experts saying there's going to be no overtaking.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be in the head.
Everybody thought it was going to be a crucial
Yeah.
start
I
that would have
imagine
decided
that
the race.
The F1 strategists in the teams have thought there's not going to be much overtaking.
Yeah.
Do what you can.
Well, that's why we had all the carnage that you could see people were doing do or die moves on the first lap there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the carnage led to the number of overtakes just because there was a lot of cars that
Yeah.
ended up out of position after that one. But 81 overtakes in total.
Yeah.
Was it?
That's
Yeah.
not bad. That's pretty
No.
good, actually.
So
Some
at
of
least
those.
with that many overtakes, there won't be a knee-jerk reaction to do something about that circuit for next year.
No, not
I
at all.
do
Apart from to
think.
take the chicane out.
Yeah.
Which they were talking about before the race anyway, because
Yeah.
that came up in the Friday drivers briefing.
I do think that Seb's coming back through the field, he was so lucky that of all the cars that got took out, there was a couple of Saubers and a couple of Hasses in front of him.
Yeah.
That's an obvious conclusion to jump to, but all of those guys are in their own race, and
Those Saubers weren't. Kevin Magnussen wasn't. They gave them places up.
Grosjean fought him a little bit, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, only
And-
because Grosjean didn't know what the fuck was going on.
And Vettel had to take to the curbs in order to get past him.
yeah, but
he made
Magnussen
a
moved
stick.
out of the way. 2 Saubers moved out of the way.
Yeah. Because they
Um,
know which side their bread
Oh,
is buttered.
ab-
Well,
absolutely.
it's not just that; it slows you down to be racing against
Someone you're not going to race with.
someone who's much faster than you.
Yeah.
I mean,
no.
you do hear it all the time on team radio. So the faster car coming up behind you, they are fighting for position. Let them through. We're not racing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's not necessarily a they're all Ferrari.
No, I
thing.
know it's an obvious thing, but what I mean is the fact because those cars were so high up when he got to them because they were in the
Yeah.
points. But usually the way it works is if you do the slower cars at the back end, and then as soon as you hit like 6th, like 10th to 6th, progress halts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then you've got to start
But
working
he
your way
met
forward.
Haas and
Yeah. So
Saubers in top
he
10.
got himself like a default 6th then.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was still a good drive. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
you
but,
know, but-
fifth place was a good finish for Vettel.
Yeah.
After what happened, shame that he lost big chunk of points in the championship lead. I mean, this could have been a race where the championship lead was sort of on the line, and as you say, the two of them could have been racing.
Well, do you know
Vettel and
what?
Hamilton could have been racing quite hard.
Because what he finished 6th in the end, didn't he?
Fifth.
Fifth.
Yeah.
Until he got up there and got sort of a decent haul of points. After that race, I really did think to myself, "This is the championship here. This is the point. Like you can lose like 5 points, you can lose 10 points. You can't lose 25 points this year."
Yeah, it's going to be crucial. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
So, but yeah, I did. I thought it was essentially we would be looking back at that at the end of the year, going, yeah, that was where Lewis Hamilton won the championship.
Yeah, like we look back at 2016 and the engine blow up in Malaysia.
Yeah.
And the Singapore race last year where Ferrari crashed into each other and blamed it on Max.
Yeah.
I mean, funnily enough, you're actually agreeing with something that Autosport are saying. It's one of the stories that's behind the paywall.
Turning point in the championship.
Yeah, Vettel's small error could have big consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah. Far reaching, I would say, as well, because, I mean, if you look, I know we're not yet doing a preview of the next race, but If you look at Austria,
You're allowed to say Austria. It's not giving a spoiler if you say what the next race is on the calendar.
if you look at the Austrian circuit, the Red Bull Ring,
Oh, and also they're not spoilers; they're results.
yeah, exactly,
Yes.
quite power orientated, and that new Mercedes upgrade appears to have given Mercedes, well, around Paul Ricard, roughly 1.5 tenths a lap. The shorter lap at Red Bull Ring is probably going to give them just under a tenth, but that's just on engine power alone.
Yeah.
So and then after that, Silverstone, again, another huge power dependent circuit. So until you really come out the other side of Silverstone, you got 2 more races in front of you. The outcome's probably going to be quite similar. So
Yeah.
Ferrari are going to have to think about doing something really different in order to jump Mercedes, either qualifying wise or cleverer tire strategies. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves, making small errors like.
Are you saying we're looking at a championship where Ferrari have started strong but might fall away towards the end of the season?
like we haven't seen that before. No, I just think that
Sorry,
Ferrari.
have we just gone back a year?
No, I just think that Ferrari's best chance of scoring big points again is probably going to be after the summer break now. Like big wins, taking chunks of points off Mercedes.
Yeah.
Is probably going to be not until after the summer break.
So
they need to perform in these races leading up to the summer break, and not be making little errors like that.
I thought craziness had happened a couple of races ago, and it was looking like I was wrong. But I still stand by my prediction that unless we have a Lewis meltdown, he's going to win the championship every year until 2021. Until the rules change, we don't know what's going to happen
This year and the next 2.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out what the rules are at some point of this week because apparently the FIA are telling the teams what they are.
Apparently,
2021 rules.
The 2021 rules.
Wow.
If we could just
They
before
haven't
we
told them
move
the
on.
2019 rules yet. But
No, but there's the definitive engine rules, aren't they? I
The
think they're
definitive
saying,
engine rules are due to come out at some point this week, and if they come out on Tuesday,
or midnight on Monday.
hang on a second, there's the jump cut.
So yeah, before we move on, I just want to say a really good performance from Red Bull at the circuit we didn't expect them to do well at.
Definitely.
Yep.
Both Verstappen, solid race for Verstappen, really solid race for Verstappen, and well done to Mercedes and hard luck on Bottas for getting turned around at the first corner, but it happens.
Yeah.
Was that the 26th different track that Hamilton's won at now? Which now breaks Schumacher's record for the number of circuits that he's won on.
Is it really?
I
Wow.
do remember seeing that tweet.
It's weird, isn't it? It's
Might
like
well have been one of Sean's.
I think it probably was.
there was a big countdown for Vettel because with him being German, and he was taking out quite a few of Schumacher's records. There seemed to be a big lead up to things where people think, 10 more poles and he'll have beaten this or this, that, and the other. But Hamilton breaking all these records seems to have come out of the blue.
70. I think it was his 75th pole
Pole
position,
position.
and his 65th race win.
Yeah. How's that happened?
Don't know.
Because
Something to do with the Mercedes.
Right.
because he's been the best driver in the fastest car.
Ooh. Fucking hell, Paul. They'd be fighting words around the internet.
Nobody on the internet.
put Lewis in the Sauber and he still win the championship. No, he wouldn't.
Nobody on the internet listens to this. I'll send out the
What do you
tape.
mean nobody on the internet listens to this? We are on the internet.
No,
We
we-
how this is
We
listened
are the
to.
internet, god damn it.
No, you know when I say I'm going to post the podcast, I spend all Tuesday editing it and then putting it on tape and going to the post office and posting the tapes out.
Got you, yeah. Right, okay, and the links to the podcast is a link to how to obtain the tape.
Yeah. I've got this absolutely huge warehouse full of TDK D90s
Yeah.
that I just go and dip into every week.
Some of them are double cassettes then.
No, I go posh and I use D120s for
Or
those.
15 8-tracks.
Yes.
Did anyone actually ever own an 8-track?
Well, I'd imagine.
Not personally.
Not.
Yeah.
You mean in this room?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, I thought you meant back.
Well, no.
I'm sure people had them.
back in the day, I do remember people owning them.
My dad had an 8-track in his car.
Do you remember anything about it? Were they any good?
Oh, no. I mean, this was like, but that was like the 60s. I wasn't born.
Oh, right,
Whatever it
fair
was.
enough.
Yeah, it's.
No,
Whatever.
just somebody mentioned something about a band. I can't remember which one it was, but I bet
Releasing
they're
on 8-track.
Yeah, I bet there are a bunch of hipsters releasing an album on 8-track. I think it may have been the Strokes.
Do you know what the thing gets me? I know this is fucked a little bit, but you know bands that release songs on tape. Like cassette tape is the worst way to listen to music. The audio quality is shit. There's no like, whereas people like the
No
warmth-
durability.
Yeah, they like the warmth
Of vinyl.
of vinyl.
Or the crispness of CD.
Yeah, yeah.
I do know somebody who would disagree with you on that.
They're wrong.
It's our accountant.
He's wrong.
He is wrong.
But he has got...
He's fired.
He's got this broadcast quality cassette deck that I think when new 10 years ago cost something like $3,000.
Right.
10 years ago.
Yeah. Oh,
Do you know what's
yeah,
going to happen when you
we're
put a
still
cassette in that? It's going to sound like a cassette.
Yeah.
well, he puts a tape in it. Listen to the quality on that. It's like, well, yeah, it sounds good because your speakers cost more than our car.
Yeah.
You know, if you were prepared to spend an absolute fortune,
It's a hard no from me.
yeah.
What's that term where does he turn it up loud so that you can listen to it as well, just to hear how good it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's a term for that. It's an actual scientific term. Where everything sounds better when it's really loud.
Yeah.
It's called sonic something. I can't remember what it's called.
Highways?
Sonic dissonance or something like that. Where everything sounds better when it's really loud.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a Motorhead fan. Everything louder than everything else. So, what do we think of the race in general, then?
It was grand.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think the DRS was too long. Apart from that, I was happy with it.
I
Dan?
think after
It could have been more interesting.
yeah, it could have been better, but it could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have been Canada.
I was just going to say, when unless Lewis wins the world championship by that amount of points, we'll probably never mention this race ever again.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't China, was it? But then
No.
again, like Dan said, it wasn't Canada.
No.
I don't know. I think the next time we mention this race, it'll be, remember that one at Paul Ricard before they actually sorted out the runoff areas so they'd slow people down rather than you could go off track and not accelerate.
Well, I mean, at least cars were still going into the barriers sometimes. Grosjean.
From quite a distance. Ericsson,
Yeah.
the usual suspects, basically.
Yeah.
Lance Stroll.
He didn't get as far as the barrier. He managed to stop it on the 3 remaining wheels. But, yeah. Right, predictions. What we made.
Yes, we made predictions.
We made predictions.
Should we start with everyone else and finish with Lee?
Yeah, we'll start with Sean because she's not here this week.
Okay.
She went for a Vettel win, Raikkonen second, Hamilton third. Now, under the rules of our prediction game, that gets her 2 points.
Yep.
She had 2 of the top 3 in the wrong position. Dan, you went for a Hamilton win, 3 points for that. Bottas second, Vettel third. You managed to get the first crash. Actually, it wasn't even the first crash. So
That was close.
You were close. You got 3 points altogether. Chris, a Bottas win,
No.
Raikkonen second, and Hamilton third.
You got
That's
2 of the podium.
2 points. Yeah.
2/3 of the podium. I went for a Vettel win, Hamilton second, Raikkonen third.
Oh, so 2 points.
Lee,
Yes.
you predicted, honest,
Yep.
an Alonso win,
Oh, how stupid of me.
Sorokin to come second,
Oh, nearly.
and Stroll to come third.
Fucking hell. It
You
doesn't
were
sound like me.
so close.
It really doesn't sound like you.
Who are
does
my
it?
heroes and villains?
Your hero was Roman Grosjean?
Yeah, that rings a bell.
I might stick with that actually because
And
he,
your,
he did
and your
add.
villain was Jensen Button.
It was all fun and games until a second ago.
He's going to ask us to leave before we finished recording tonight.
I think so,
No,
yeah.
no.
last
The
part
next
of
time
this
you hear
podcast.
from me will be from my lawyer. But
Just got one slight problem with that. He's our lawyer as well.
my cat is not your lawyer.
I've been meaning to have a word with you about that. Conflict of interest. So, what have we got next? Yes, the definitive 2021 engine regulations are due to be released this week.
You've either already heard about them with a jump cut or
Or they haven't been
Or-
released by Tuesday, and we'll talk about them at greater length, and Sean's already written the article.
Yeah, so we will talk about them at greater length on next week's podcast, because as of Monday evening, we do not know what these definitive engine rules are. The big rumour
Just
is...
like as of last Monday evening, we didn't know that Red Bull had definitely confirmed the decision to go with Honda.
No, exactly. Thank you very much for that.
8 a.m. Tuesday morning.
Yeah, thanks very much for that. The jump in the pod there to make sure that we got that news in. But the big rumour is that the engines will be going to twin turbos, a simplified version of twin turbos with a standardised MGUK. Or is it MGUK they're getting rid of? I can't remember. Is the MGUH they're getting rid of?
MGUH is going,
And MGUK is going to be standardised.
FIA controlled MGUK
Yeah.
with driver initiated deployment. So basically, it's going back to the KERS days.
Right.
It is, but having the twin turbos will make the cars an awful lot faster under acceleration. Like, they will accelerate faster. They might not have an awful lot more top speed.
But whatever top speed they've got, they'll get to it quicker.
Yeah.
Unusually for a rule change, there are very little rumours coming out.
Well, they are the rumours that
Yeah.
I've read so far.
But very little extra rumours to the ones that have been floating around for about the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, like Aston Martin are going to put an engine in, and what else have we heard over the last however many?
Well, I think
Aston is still sort of chomping at the bit, aren't they, to come in?
I think they wanted to see what these rules are. I think there are a few engine manufacturers waiting to see what these rules are before deciding on
Aston
entries.
Martin have been invited to all the preliminary discussions.
Don't I remember them
Along
hiring?
with Porsche.
And Cosworth.
Yeah, but who was it that hired a load of Formula One engine people?
That
Audi.
That was Aston Martin.
Was it Aston Martin?
Yeah.
Didn't Audi hire a load of Formula One engine people from various teams?
Possibly, but that's mainly to work on their Formula E
Right.
struggles, I would probably say. But yeah, the Aston Martin did take on a lot of ex-F1 engineers, but everyone seems to have thought, or common thinking at the time was that was to do with Adrian Newey and the
Supercar.
project that he was working on. Because
I've seen that band.
Adrian Newey and the Supercar project.
Yeah, didn't they get to number 5 with "Baby I Want Your Love" thing?
I like the idea that it would be like Gong, so it would be the Supercar band would just be a band, but I prefer Adrian Newey's Supercar band.
Oh, like it's a splitter band.
Yeah.
Like the Beat and the UK Beat.
Or Parliament and Funkadelic.
Yes. Who are essentially the same band.
Just recording slightly different stuff.
Yeah.
One's funkier than the other, but not much.
No.
They're just both incredibly funky.
Formula One.
George Clinton. Anyway, yeah, continue.
No, Bootsy Collins all the way. I'm a bass player. What have we got next? I can't read this.
Sorry, we depressed.
What are you trying to read of mine?
Oh, it says Austria preview.
Austria preview. Do you want to mention those rally guys first?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Before we preview Austria.
Before we preview Austria, had an email from Liam Bryant last week.
Hello, Liam.
Hello, Liam.
Hi, Liam.
Liam and his mates are the McMongle Horde. And
What?
They are the McMongle Horde, the Scottish.
Okay.
And the reason that the Mongol part of it is they are driving to Mongolia
Oh, okay.
in a Nissan Micra.
Do one of these gumball rally things.
One of the gumball rally
For
style
charity.
things. For charity, they're doing it for 2 charities. They are doing it for Cool Earth and SANDS, both incredible causes. SANDS provides care for infant mortality.
Okay. Very good.
Offers care and support for people at what is possibly the most traumatic.
Absolutely, I
Yeah,
can't imagine how bad that would be. What's Cool Earth?
Cool Earth, let me just bring...
That sounds like a global warming charity to me.
Or an American soft drink?
Possibly.
Cool Earth is working to halt rainforest destruction.
Right, okay, cool.
Both charities I can support
Yeah.
strongly.
So they are working alongside rainforest communities to halt deforestation.
Mm-hmm.
So to really good, really meaningful causes. But, and this is where all our amazing listeners come in, they need sponsorship.
Yes.
Because they've got to basically put the car together, and none of this money is going to them. It's all going to everything that they get is going to the causes, and the bare minimum is being spent on the car. And if you've ever seen a Nissan Micra, driving 150 miles in one is bad enough. Going from Goodwood to Mongolia,
That's going to be
that's
impressive.
going to be a struggle, and they are going to be breaking down, and they're going to need fuel, and they need flights home, and various things like that. Obviously, they're putting all the time and money they can manage themselves into it, but they're looking for sponsors.
So how could one go about sponsoring them?
Basically, they can get in touch with us, and we will pass the details on. So, if you want to know what you can do to sponsor these two listeners doing it for an absolutely couple of fantastic causes,
Yeah.
you want to know what you can do to help, get in touch with us through the usual means, 3legs4wheels@gmail.com.
That's probably the best one.
Actually, I would probably say that is the best
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, get in touch via email, 3legs4wheels@gmail.com, and we'll put you in touch with Liam and the rest of the McMongle horde. And if you want to help out in any way possible, do so. They've got a GoFundMe page set up, so I'm going to put a link to that in the page with this show on, and we're going to share it out on Facebook and Twitter as well.
Yeah.
So even if you can't donate enough sponsorship, which starts at £150,
Mm-hmm.
it's around about $200.
Roughly.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to put some money towards and you can't, or you don't want a logo on the car, or don't want sponsorship, but you still want to pay a decent amount, you can do it through the GoFundMe page as well, which I think takes all major cards.
So yeah, get on that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
certainly will.
Yeah,
Totally
we'll be putting some cash in, and all being well, when they get internet, they'll be sending us updates. It's going to be happening next year, but they'll be sending us updates on putting the car together and how the progress is going,
Yeah.
and we'll share the full story with everyone.
It'd be nice if they could do a little vlog. If they could do a little vlog we could share out with the listeners, that'd be cool.
I think they are planning on doing that. It's just the quality of internet in Ulaanbaatar might be a little bit. You couldn't get internet in the Canary Islands. Can you imagine what it's like in Mongolia?
Couldn't get internet in my hotel in the Canary Islands. The other places were fine.
Other internets are available.
Yeah.
Austria then.
Yes.
Red Bull Ring. Owned by Red Bull.
So that would mean that Red Bull are going to be supreme, surely.
You'd think, but with that third DRS zone that they've now put in,
Between turns, what, 2 and 3?
1 and 3.
Hang on, wait. So there's a DRS zone on the main
On the
start
main
finish.
straight,
Yeah.
up to turn 1.
Yeah, and then turn 1.
Yeah. And then you're into another DRS zone going up the hill with the resurrected turn 2 because
Turn 2 disappeared.
turn 2 disappeared for MotoGP last year because MotoGP decided it wasn't a turn
Right.
because it's a slight left-hand kink going up the hill.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a turn for a bike, but it is a turn for a car.
And now
Yeah.
there's what's from turn 2 to turn 3 or
From turn 2, from turn 1 to turn 3, and then from turn 3 to turn 4.
That's half the
So
circuit
the
is
first
DRS.
half of the lap is going to be DRS.
That more than the first half, probably.
I think the quali times.
Yeah.
Talk about unrepresentative of race lap times.
Last year, there was a 3-second difference between race and qualifying. Fastest time in Q3, Lewis got pole with a 104.2, and he got the fastest lap in the race with a 107.6. They are going to be slicing quite a bit of time off that.
Could we see a sub-minute?
I reckon 101, 102.
Yeah, it's going to be
102
fucking
qualifying.
close, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think 101, 102 quali lap is not out of the question.
What tyres have they got?
Rubber one? No, not even rubber, are they?
No, they're plastic compound.
What tyres have they got?
I assume it's not hypersoft.
No, I think it's supers, softs, and mediums. I think. Paul is just doing some Googling.
They are.
Ultras will be on, won't they, for that
Yeah,
circuit?
it's soft, super, and ultra again.
Oh, wow, okay.
And everyone has gone incredibly heavy on the ultras.
Interesting. So yeah, we could see some pretty fast laps.
Yeah, we're going to see some quick laps. It's an out-and-out power circuit.
Yeah, it's a 70 or 71 lap race, isn't it? I think usually.
It's about that. You're making me look things up that I should have.
No,
written down.
it's fine. I'm just, I'm thinking it might be even more than that because if Monaco was 77 laps with times of like 1 minute 15, 1 minute 16.
Yeah.
Don't forget that Monaco's slightly different because their race distance is shorter than any other race on the calendar.
Oh, okay.
It was last year 71 laps.
71 laps. So
Bless you.
yeah. Bless you.
Bless you twice.
So the scene of that famous, as Dan was alluding to before, Rosberg-Hamilton incident, where Rosberg tried to make the corner as wide as possible and failed, and ended up finishing fourth in a race he could have won.
Yeah.
I seem to remember the intro that night was, "Hi, welcome to Three Legs Four Wheels. It's Paul with Dan, Chris, Rosberg's a cunt."
Yeah, I think that was the intro that night. Yeah.
Classic me, innit?
We may as well.
I'll just go easily remembered.
We may as well just jump straight to the predictions because we can talk about who's going to suit this circuit and who's not, but we genuinely don't know. Even coming off the back of Paul Ricard, which is a similar sort of fast sweeping turns.
Feels like a Mercedes track.
Does yeah. We were saying that earlier.
It does depend a bit on this Renault upgrade and whether people take that.
If it works for Red Bull, will they jump, to the top? Who knows? Be the right place to do it, wouldn't it? At their home circuit.
Christian Horner spent a lot of the run up to the Austrian Grand Prix last year saying, "We're not going to win. We're not going to win." They didn't win.
No.
He's being quiet this year. I don't know if that means anything or everyone's just used to the fact that they're not going to win.
But
Because
wow, could you imagine it though? Could you imagine that the Renault upgrade brings them up there with Mercedes and Ferrari, and Red Bull have just signed the deal to go to Honda?
and not used the upgrade as well this weekend. I think that, wasn't it Danny Rick's got to take a penalty the next time he puts an MG UK in the car anyway?
Has he?
Yes, because those penalties that he was going to definitely have in Canada, definitely having a penalty, no doubt about that. He was going to get grid penalties in Canada that he didn't have, and then didn't have last weekend.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it in front of the home circuit.
I wouldn't have thought so.
It depends. Depends what I mean. They'd be better off with a competitive car and a 5-place big grid drop. Because don't forget, you've got the 5-place grid drop. If he goes out and gets pole, he's still got pole. They've still got the headlines. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think the home Grand Prix would make any difference because people only remember what happens at the end of the race on Sunday.
Yeah.
But how easy is it to pass there? That's the question.
With 3 DRS zones, I'm going to say breeze past.
With 3 DRS zones, you've got to think that you need the new Renault engine.
You've got 3 DRS zones, but do you actually have 3 DRS detection points? Because I think...
Because if there's only one detection point, you're going to...
I think there's going to be 2 detection points. There's going to be one coming off turn 10 on the start of the start of the pit straight.
Yeah.
Then there's going to be a second one after turn 1. But the 3rd DRS zone that comes just after the start of turn 3, there isn't room for a detection zone there between the end of the previous one. So I think it's going to be one detection zone for the second 2 of the 3 DRS zones.
They've done it before. It's not unheard of. Canada is like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
I mean, if you did only have the one detection zone, that would be really silly because you...
There won't be one for 3 zones.
No,
I think
thought
Paul's
so.
right. I think there'll be 2.
Now then, there are 2, but I got it wrong. The first DRS detection zone, or the first DRS detection point, is between turns 9 and 10, just after the pit lane entry.
Right.
And that's for the first 2 zones. The DRS detection point for zone 3,
Which is the new one.
which is the new one. Turn 1 to 3 is the new
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
It's where it was last year, which is in the middle of turn 2.
Oh, right, okay. So they've essentially...
You're under DRS being detected for the next one.
That's all right.
How bizarre.
So, ideally, the strategy is going to have to be make your pass
At the end.
after the detection point and then you can make your getaway in the third zone. And then the guy that you've just passed can't do anything about it.
Just close your eyes for a second and imagine a sport where we didn't have to fucking talk about DRS zones.
You know, this is all McLaren's fault.
What?
DRS.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is completely McLaren's fault.
But the way it's used isn't. I think when it was like the push pass button, that was the way forward.
You burning up there, Dan?
A little bit, yeah. It's quite hot in here.
Dan's had to turn on one of the fans. In fact, the fan.
There's one behind you.
Yeah, but
Dan
Yeah.
switched on the one that's still got some of my hair in it, and
Yeah.
it didn't last very long.
I'm thinking that maybe my holiday has helped me in this warm environment right now.
Are you acclimatised?
Yeah, I'm not. It's warm, but I don't feel overly warm. Not personal fan warm.
should we jump to predictions then?
I'm just still trying to comprehend DRS, but yeah, we'll jump to predictions.
I say it's a
Right.
science that we don't need to understand until we see it. Really.
That is true. Right, I'll do Sean's predictions first because again she's not here. But I got them before I left.
I'll say thank you
left
to
the
Sean
house.
as well for standing in for Lee whilst Lee was away.
Yes.
Thank you.
And thanks as always for everything that she writes during the week.
Absolutely, yeah. All the articles that she writes for the website that you wonderful people get to read,
DRS.
all written by Sean.
We're not thanking her for that.
Degrading racing.
Simulator.
Simulated -overtakes. Right, she is going for a Bottas win, Hamilton second, Raikkonen third.
That's an interesting one. She's
This is 2 Raikkonen podiums in a row.
at the
Not where I
place-
put my money.
He likes the barriers in Austria.
He does
doesn't
like
he?
the barriers in
Yeah.
Austria.
Or the top of Fernando's car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget, Raikkonen's had a podium in 25% of all his races since his last win.
Yeah.
He's opening a little kiosk.
Yeah,
in
1
Nick
in
Heidfeld's
4, not
world of
2 in
disappointment.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he won't get one for another 7 races to make up for it.
Yeah,
That's
probably,
not
yeah.
impressive.
No, that's just Kimmy. So, yeah, have you got your predictions there, Paul? or-
Yeah, I am going for a Hamilton win.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Bottas second and Vettel third. There's me typing it.
That was going to be what I was going to say.
That is going to be what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna go different. Then I'm gonna throw a wild card third place in there. I'm gonna say Hamilton win, Vettel second, and Carlos Sainz for third.
You're really putting a lot of faith in that Renault upgrade.
Now
No.
that, I was going for Sainz for third as well.
Well, you did for this weekend, just gone. So
Yep, I am for Austria as well. I reckon that he is going to take the Renault upgrade and it's going to do some good work.
or blow up on the grid.
I reckon Hamilton for the win and Ricciardo for second.
Ooh,
But he won't have taken the upgrade.
and you're gonna
Right.
say Sainz third as well. Yeah.
Sainz third.
So you think the Renault upgrade's going to be good, but not as good as Chris thinks it is?
Yeah,
What?
maybe.
I said Sainz was going to be finished third, and so did Dan.
Yeah, but he also said that Ricciardo was going to finish second and not take the upgrade. So the
Okay.
So the unupgraded engine is better than the upgraded one.
All does Red Bull are good.
Yeah.
Right. Given my awful predictions last weekend, I clearly need to make some points up. So I'm going to go...
I think you should stick with the same ones.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
They're good choices.
I'm going to go with a Vettel win.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Hamilton second.
Why did that autocorrect to Ericsson?
And I'm going to go with Max Verstappen in third.
Right.
Not too far fetched. Max is having a sort of upsurge in
Yeah.
in results at the moment.
And if they do take if they do take the upgrade and Ricciardo has to take a grid drop, Max does seem to do better when Ricciardo isn't around him. I think he's better when there's less teammate pressure around.
Yeah.
Right. I will stick those on the website, and we will see. We will see what happens On Sunday.
As
Heroes and
always, you could
villains?
send. Yeah, well, should we do heroes and villains as well?
Heroes and villains?
Yeah.
Hero. Whoever takes the Renault upgrade.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll take that as a hero.
Yeah.
And-
Villain McLaren for not taking it.
I was going to have McLaren as the villain just for being slow on a quick track.
Because we're not allowed to say Williams driver anymore.
Yeah. Okay, who cares?
Because we know they're going to be a mobile chicane this
Yeah,
weekend.
who
Actually,
I don't know. I
I'm
think
gonna,
Williams could look like heroes this weekend.
No, I'm going to go broad with my villain, actually. I'm just going to say independent British racing teams.
Yeah.
I mean, if Williams managed to get anything sorted out on the car, this kind of is a circuit that suits Lance Stroll a bit because it's straight, 90-degree corner, straight, 90-degree corner, little bit of a twisty bit, back on a straight.
Yeah, there's less
I'm
to
going
do.
for hero for the surprising Williams driver result. Whichever one of them it is.
It would be good to see.
The first Formula One car launched into space. That is a surprising result.
I'm sure Elon Musk's already done it. He
No,
just
but
hasn't
that's
told
the
anyone.
problem, isn't it? They'd still be the second car in space.
Yeah,
they couldn't even
yeah.
win that.
No, yeah, yeah. The pictures would come back from Elon Musk's the mannequin in the thing. Lance Stroll would just float by. Yeah. Once every 75 years.
I've hit something, I don't know what.
It was
Or
Ericsson.
it'll come up on that car's dashboard like car behind plus 605 billion miles.
Yeah, my Delta says a number I can't even read.
Somebody get the blue planets out.
think back to your savings account, Stroll.
That was words, just words.
I can't be bothered passing you the guitar for this next bit.
Just go straight
I
into
think,
it.
I
Then.
think we've lost the theme tune now, haven't we?
Yeah.
I need to write a jingle for it. We need jingles.
Any jingle makers out there that want your work showcasing, get in touch.
Yeah, if only there was a musician in the room. Let's go. What are we doing?
We're screwed. Hopefully, you've got a total shunt.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to say quickly, if anybody wants to send predictions, do so on the Facebook page. Probably the best way to do that.
Facebook.com/3legs4wheels or tweet them to us at 3legs4wheels.
Yeah.
This one was sent in by Lord R. Jones. Don't know if he is a lord. I like to think he is.
Lord R. Jones.
Yeah.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a solid name.
It is. Definitely a Tory, isn't he?
Possibly.
Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Yes, don't see why not.
My glasses are exceptionally dirty. I'm going to have to clean them in a second. I was born...
So's most of what you look at.
Well, so is most of what's in
I
my
was born as the correct way to start
head.
Total Shunt. So Lord R. Jones is 1 point up already.
On the 28th. We never usually have a day, do
No,
we?
this is a proper date. Okay.
On the 28th of June, 1971.
28th, so that's a proper actual date. So if this is a person, we're looking at somebody who is...
Going to be 47 in 3 days' time as of recording this.
Yeah.
So happy birthday for this week to this
Yeah.
particular shunt.
To clarify, back then, Paul was 67 years of age.
In dog years. How does that work the other way around?
I don't know.
Yeah, dog years might not be doing you any favours here. Isn't it 7 years for every 1 human year?
Something like that. Anyway. Another clue's going to be needed there, Lee. We can't get it on,
Oh,
on
okay, damn it.
purely a birth date.
Um,
Can't give it to us when it's handed down on
Do
plate
any of us
sometimes.
look like Sean Kelly?
I came back in 2008.
From where?
The Undertaker?
The laundrette?
Frank Butcher?
Yeah, question 3. I've taken part in 3 buried alive matches. I joined one of the biggest teams in sports.
With a comeback in 2008. We're looking at someone like
Have
Alex.
we had this one before?
Don't know. I was going to say, we're looking at someone like Alex Zanardi
Was
or
it
someone like that.
Magic Johnson or...
We've had, I know,
Michael Jordan.
We've
Michael
had Michael
Jordan.
Jordan.
Yeah.
We haven't had this. This might not be a Formula One driver. but we haven't had this before.
Okay.
Is Alex Zanardi too old for 71? Is that about right?
That's about the right age.
Yeah. Made his comeback in 2008.
Yeah.
Joined one of the biggest teams in sports, BMW. Yeah, possibly.
I think that's a perfectly good first guess because we need one after this.
So what's your first guess?
Yeah, Alex Zanardi?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with Alex Zanardi.
During my career, I signed an advertising deal with McDonald's and Adidas.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is a serious sports athlete.
Yeah, nothing says serious sports like McDonald's.
You'd be surprised
No, I
at
know,
what
it's
they
crazy,
sponsor.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
they're all over the McDonald's delivery sponsoring the World Cup at the moment.
Yeah, fucking McDonald's delivery. Fuck McDonald's. I had McDonald's on holiday because it was like the
only thing you could speak in English.
It was not the only thing I could. You don't need to speak Spanish in Lanzarote.
Oh, I don't know.
I met more Welsh people.
The Spanish McDonald's chorizo cheeseburgers, they are great.
No, McDonald's is shit food. It doesn't matter where you are or where it comes from. It's just consistently shit food.
Yeah, but you know what you're getting.
Shit. And yeah, it was awful. That's all right. It's just my McDonald's rant. Carry on.
You know, you were saying we're looking for sponsors. There's one we're not going to get.
Good.
Yeah. I would. Do you know what? Because it's fucking people up, I would not take McDonald's. I ethically wouldn't do it.
Adidas
Hello,
and
Burger King, can you listen to this
McDonald's.
week's show?
Burger King is delicious and we can do it.
Right, okay, we need another clue.
Yeah.
So we've got Adidas and McDonald's sponsorship deals, which still could be Sebastian Bortno. Could still be Alex Zanardi.
Possibly.
I am a racing motorsport series champion.
Maybe.
He won the IndyCar Championship.
Yeah.
It's number 6, and I want to guess after this. I have been awarded the Legion of Honor, whatever the fucking that is,
That's the biggest medal you can get in France.
with its full name, the National Order of the League of Honor, which I believe Batman joined.
No, that was League of Legends.
Right.
That would point to it being somebody French.
Not
perhaps.
necessarily.
No?
No, the French government give out the Legion of Honor to basically anyone that deserves it.
I think we're still looking at Alex Zanardi, but let's get a second guess in.
And
there
they took
before-
all the help they could get when they had to fight Dr. Demento.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, there was
yeah.
a Simpsons episode where Bart convinced Krusty the Clown that he was going to get the Legion of Honor.
So we need a second guess then.
Do you get spiky vests, like spiky shoulder pads when you join
Well, that's the Legion of Doom.
Oh, shit.
I'm at a complete loss.
It's the point of the game. It's just to kind of confuse us a little bit with clues.
Yeah.
So somebody who's been a motorsports racing champion and has been given the Legion of Honor award in France. Perhaps in France.
Yeah, I can't think who.
Should we stick with Zanardi for now?
Should we just say another driver? Someone like would Jules Bianchi been given it posthumously?
Yeah, but he isn't going to be 47. Or wouldn't have
No,
been
that's
47
correct.
next week.
That's correct.
How about the Ralph of Schumachers? Ralph. It's about.
Did he make a comeback?
Did he win a series in motorsport?
He made a comeback in DTM.
Did he win it?
No, but I remember the race where he set off with the fuel hose in and took down 4 different teams' airlines.
It's the Ralph I remember.
Yep. But that's the only one I can think of offhand that's about the right age.
Are you going with Ralph?
Man of the cloth, brother Ralph.
Yeah. Yeah. Are we
Yeah.
going?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. I half
it's Ralph
I don't either.
spoiler. I think Chris is right.
Can I rewind.
I always don't want to use this because he's spelled Le Mans wrong.
Okay.
He spelled it with one E and a hyphen, and we all know that Le Mans is now spelled L-E-E.
Le Mans.
Yeah. I've competed in 3 Le Mans.
I'm still thinking Zanardi.
It's yeah.
Question number 8. Hopping isn't my strong point. No.
Oh, no. No. Oh, dear. Right, go on. What is actual question number 8, please, Lee?
I have competed for 7 different teams in my previous sport.
It's still looking like Zanardi because these days he is
He's a wheelchair racer as well as...
a hand cyclist.
yeah.
Triathlete.
Oh yes, yeah, it's full triathlons now, isn't it?
Is that what he does? Para triathlons or...
As well.
Yeah. As well as the hand cycling and the...
And the wheelchair racing.
wheelchair racing and the...
Motorsport.
yeah, is it Italian GT that he's racing in for BMW?
I think that was one of the series that he was doing. He just kept turning up in a car and being quick.
I just think that all the dates just appear to line up. I made my comeback in 2008. That'd roughly be when he got back in the car to race again.
7 teams. So Lotus, Minardi, Williams in F1, BMW. Probably should know who we drove for in IndyCar. So I'm going to say Chip Ganassi because everyone drives for Chip Ganassi at some point.
For both of my sports, I predominantly use my hands.
I still think we're thinking about Alex
I
Zanardi.
think it's going to be Zanardi. Yeah, I think you got it on the first.
Well, second clue I think I
Second
got it on,
clue.
didn't I? I think second or third.
I can't pronounce this properly, so I'm just going to go
Spell it?
for it. No, it's a different language. I can probably say it, but I don't think I'm going to pronounce it right. My nickname is Le Divin Shivi.
How do you spell it?
Chauve.
Shove.
Is that it? I haven't really mastered English yet.
Fair point. You are Banks. Le Divin. Divin.
Yes.
So divine.
The Divine Horse.
No, that's Chauveau.
I know shat is cat. Is shat cat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I think it's got to be
think-
Alex Zanardi. I
Yeah.
think.
Is that what you're going with?
I think so.
Would you like me to translate the nickname?
Oh, is there a
Oh,
translation?
You got a translation?
Yeah.
Yes.
The Divine Bald One.
So probably not
Zanardi. then.
Zanardi.
And the Spaffer clue, which you can now have, is I have absolutely no hair game.
Zanardi has good hair game.
I feel I had to do that because I knew you were going down the Zanardi road.
Too
Yeah.
young for Eddie Jordan.
Eddie Jordan.
That's still
But that's the point in Total Show. This is well done. Very
This
good.
is a very good one.
Yeah, it's very good.
one.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this one because
Yeah.
it's making my brain.
He
work.
should enjoy listening to this and not get angry at it, as it's a fun game.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
The Divine.
Duncan Goodhue.
Yeah, I was going there. Max Sciandri.
That's
Probably
a fast
someone's
name.
French or French Canadian.
Fabien Barthez.
Jacques
Oh,
Villeneuve.
he was a goalkeeper.
Yeah. And he's about the right
And
age.
he's about the right age, made the comeback. Absolute slaphead.
Yeah.
Get in. Ask the question.
Are you Fabien Barthez?
I'm Fabien Barthez.
Oh, yes.
Still got it.
Amazing.
Well rescued. That was a good one. That was a
As Fabien Barthez. Do you ever get mistaken for Alex Zanardi?
Frequently, then I stand up.
Yeah, no, I really thought we were going for Alex Zanardi there, but that was a really good one, Lord R. Jones.
It was very good. I enjoyed doing it.
Very nearly got us. Very nearly got us.
So if you want to send in a total shunt, see if you can get us completely, Lee, how do they do that?
You need to tweet me a private message and send it in. And I'll do it eventually.
How do they tweet you? Where do they tweet you to?
That's
Send
part
it.
of the game.
Send a DM too.
Send a DM to a total shunt and follow me as well because
Yeah.
I'm dead funny.
That's what your mum says anyway.
Yeah, I used both hysterical laughter just before. Hysterical laughter.
No, I was in agony. I had my hair stuck in a fan.
No.
That's also on Lee's Twitter. If you want to go and have a look at
Which
that.
backs up my claims of being hilarious.
It's also on the Three Legs Four Wheels Twitter as well. If you send me the photo, I'll use that as the cover pic for this week's podcast. Right, Formula Lee time. Seeing as the French circuit wasn't on the F1
No.
2017 game, we had to make it up as we went along. So it was a lap round Spa in the dry in a 2004 Ferrari. to get
Yes,
some
we went
speed in.
classic just because you can't go around France on the 2017 game.
37 entries this week.
Ooh, that's pretty high.
It is. That's what happens when you get to drive a fast car on a fast circuit in the dry.
Some people's favourite circuits, I think.
Yes.
Because did we work out that geographically Monaco was the closest circuit to Le Castellet?
But we wanted something fast.
Yeah, so we went with Spa.
Yeah. Good range of times. And Jeff Leopold. I have to get that in. No. He knows he's going to be slow. He's got a really crappy graphics card, so that's why he always ends up about 25% off the pace.
Well, he needs to invest in a good graphics card. And
He's trying to convince the other half to let him.
Oh, I see.
But to get into the points this week, you needed 1 minute 46.053 or faster. And
That's pretty quick.
the following people did. 20th was Matthew Day, 19th Patrick Daly, 18th Ken Lauderbach, 17th Suan Wong, 16th Nicholas Carline, 15th Weicher Camping, 14th Nick Richardson, 13th Pete Bull, 12th Alessandro Popolani.
That's a good name.
It's a racing name.
Yeah, it is. Please tell me you're an Italian racing driver coming through the ranks in Italian Formula 3.
You need to be with a name like that. Into the Travis Parker was 11th. Into the top 10 we've got Chris Albee. Another one that I think has got a bit of a racing name, Alberto Roldan. He's touring car. That's a touring car name.
World touring car.
Yeah.
Yeah, world touring car champion, I
Yeah.
would say.
So next touring car game that comes out, we expect to see you doing well on that one,
Yeah.
Alberto. 8th place Ollie Vestley, 7th Sean Muckle, 6th Freddie Brunner, 5th Max Williams, 4th place for Will Coates.
What?
That came as a surprise. Top 3, 3rd place with 143.329 is Carl Jarazec. 2nd place, a definite racing name, with 143.305, Ayrton Antonucci.
Yes, we've discussed Ayrton's name before.
And finally, he gets a win that he's been trying to get for God knows how long.
Since forever.
Since forever, after coming second all those times with the only sub 143 time, 142.902. Well done, Bradley Chambers.
Bradley Chambers, congratulations.
Well done.
Sent a tweet saying, please, what do I need to do to get a win? I was like, well, drive faster than everybody else, really.
Yeah, that's how it works.
So, we are...
Maybe we should have a Patreon tier. Instant win Patreon tier.
The more you pay, the more time you get knocked off.
Yeah, pay drivers for Formula Lee, there's an idea.
Yeah, you got to do it in a slower car. We're back on schedule though, because Austria is on the game, and we'll need a car for the Red Bull Ring.
Red Bull, so you say man. No, I was going to go Red Bull. And it's dead quick in it, so you might as well have it in dry again.
So Red Bull in the dry, and it's only a 1 weeker.
Also, we can talk quickly about the new Formula 1 game, can't we?
A little.
So we're
There's
gonna.
a brawn on it, Lee.
Can I just say the closing date for this one?
Yeah,
is
crack on.
It's Monday the 2nd, 7 o'clock UK, 2 o'clock Eastern. You can send it in, email 3legsforwheels@gmail.com, direct message on Twitter, private message on Facebook. And if you're friends with me on the PS Network, I'll get to see your time anyway, so no need to send it in. But if you're playing on PS4, just send a friend request to Pabstar,
Yeah.
and I'll be able to pick up your time from that.
Yeah. Well,
So next year's game
it's out for Belgium, if I remember right.
usually comes out
Belgium
in
will be
time
the
for the Belgian Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And for the last 2 years, we've had the first race of the season at Italy.
Yeah, that's cool. That sounds good.
And you finally get to drive the Brawn.
No. But what I was going to say was, because obviously we all get the game, but I'm the only one here with an Xbox. So I'll get it on Xbox this year. So any of our guys that are out there doing...
So you can
Doing
join
it
with
on
the Xbox
Xbox.
guys, because we've all been PlayStation,
Yeah,
haven't we?
yeah.
So it's been a little bit
And it also
heavily
makes it
weighted.
easier for you, because that means I can just take a screenshot of the Xbox lap times, and then you'll have them both.
Then
won't you?
I'll get both of them.
Yeah, so I think that might be the best way to do it. So yeah, if you want to, I'm Lead Drum 100 on Xbox as well. So
Yeah.
if you're an Xbox guy and you're doing that, do me on that. Do me anyway. I'll take it.
Careful now.
Also, Fantasy Formula 1.
Yes.
Yes, if you go to our website, there are 3 fantasy competitions on there. We've got the Grid Rival one, which unfortunately our guy isn't top in the world anymore. He's dropped a second.
Ah.
Fuck him.
He's still leading our league, but he's second in the
Never
world.
listen to this show again, you disgrace.
No, it's a long season.
No.
The person in first may have the psychological advantage at the moment. But
Yeah. That's because he's a real winner.
But if you go to gridrival.com and have a look on the list of leagues you can join, I think we're the 4th most popular one on there,
Which is pretty good.
which we have the best fans.
We have the best fans.
Lee doesn't. Because Dan's worn them both out.
Dan's feeling the heat a little tonight.
I'm wilting in the corner here.
There is also the official Fantasy Formula 1 game, which if you click on the link on our website at 3legsforwheels.com under the games section, you can join our league on there, see how you stack up with Fantasy F1 with different rules, and there's the daily game as well, where you can actually win cash.
Yep. Which
If you're in the UK, Ireland, or
I was
Australia.
going to say, yeah. Which we're still running the promotion through.
Still running the promotion
Play
for
On?
that. If you click there, Play On are giving away a free $22 into your account if you deposit 20.
So of course, to do that, you just have to go to 3legsforwheels.com and have a look at the games part.
That is exactly what you have to do.
Exactly.
It's almost like we know what we're talking about.
It's almost like we have rehearsed, although would you believe this is completely unscripted?
I think most people would, Chris. Yes.
Script? I can't. If there is a script, I can't bloody read you. Right, I'm going to start bringing my glasses round.
It's because the writing's particularly poor tonight because the table's getting shook whilst I was writing. Well, I was putting the mic stands back up because, of course, we recorded the last 2 podcasts at your place.
That is true.
And we weren't able to, we had to reset the pod room up.
Yeah.
But we'll be back to more normality next week.
And I will try to write neater,
That would help.
try to write more betterer.
Yeah, and I think I might go for a haircut. One that doesn't hurt. Just want to say as well, there's an extra show that you can get if you go to patreon.com/3legs4wheels. You can sign up for our extra show with various bits of non-Formula 1 content in there. Us talking absolute cobblers
Yeah,
about
always.
about other things than Formula 1 that
we try and
usually
stay
talk
away from Formula 1. I mean, it did drift into the conversation a bit tonight, didn't it? But I mean,
It's,
Well, I missed
does,
you
that's why we-
guys.
it's one of those things.
You get to hear all the stories this week of what happened on Lee's holiday.
Yes, you do.
And my struggles with a phone company and TV provider that I can't even use.
Yes, due to your inept email.
It's not my inept email, it's somebody's inept at typing in email addresses. But we just want to thank all our new patrons that have pledged over the last couple of weeks.
Yes, I think we got some names to read out.
We have some names to read out. The roll of thanks this week. We have Phil Cooper, Joshua Woolley. Thanks to Tim Martin for your pledge. James didn't put his surname on there, which is a very strange surname. Robert Schwarzfelder, Mark Gosden, William Ashton.
Robert Schwarzfelder.
Yes.
That's an amazing name.
Yes, he welds black things.
Black things, yeah.
Benjamin C. Rollins, not Henry.
Okay.
And Nicholas Richardson. Thank you all for your pledges.
Nice
And welcome
people.
to the Hall of Fame
Yes.
of
Yeah.
patrons.
Yeah, all the money that you donate to us through Patreon goes straight into the show. I just want to say thanks as always to Cloud Above for hosting us.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. You guys are legends. Of course,
Yeah.
this is getting this show out to so many listeners isn't easy. So thanks to those guys, we are able to do it
Yeah,
every
they
week.
help me send the tapes out.
Yes.
I'm gonna have a little plug because somebody messaged the other. I think someone messaged you and plugged to put three legs in it, asking what Must See Audio was. I think I plug it enough on this show that people. I was a bit confused that somebody didn't know what it is. But if you want to go and search for Must
Google
See
is also
Audio,
your friend.
yes. But if you could go look for Must See
Was
Audio.
the person who asked that question called Steve Levens or
Yes,
something like
that was him. That was the very same man. But
A total scrunt.
yeah, but go and check out Must See Audio on your Twitter feed. Or Twitter feed, you can check it on your Twitter feed. We do have a Twitter feed, and check it out on your podcast one. We do a comedy talk show podcast, and now a video game podcast called Start Continue. So you can go and check that out, and there's some extra patron stuff as
I would
well.
have called it Must Listen Video.
But yeah, so go and check out Must See Audio. It's really funny.
That's about it for us this week.
Yeah.
Me and Chris and Dan this week will be vlogging the Austrian Grand Prix. I'll be doing qualifying as usual on Saturday.
Indeed.
And the three of us, with the occasional comment thrown in from Lee and Sean, will be blogging the race on Sunday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully not being as distracted by the football as we were this week.
Well, thankfully,
I
I'll be
don't-
back on fucking board and I'll be able to watch qualifying and all
Yeah.
sorts. And yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's an important game to distract us on Sunday, is there?
I'm not sure. I can't remember the fixtures offhand. I've got a wall chart in the living room.
You're looking at me, Chris. That's not a good idea.
Well, I'm looking at. Well, but don't say that looking at you is not a good idea. I mean, I may not be looking at you for an answer. I just felt the need to look at you.
I think we're going to go now, and I'm just going to leave you with this. Come on, England. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Win football.